Have you ever wondered if true love can find you at your most vulnerable moment? Today's story might just restore your faith in humanity and the power of unexpected connections. If this touches your heart, please hit that like button and subscribe to our channel for more heartwarming real-life stories that remind us of the good in this world. Rachel Morgan stared at her reflection in the restaurant window, one hand instinctively cradling her 7-month pregnant belly. The evening light cast a soft glow on her face, highlighting the anxiety in her eyes. She hadn't mentioned her pregnancy when she agreed to this blind date, a decision she was now second-guessing as she stood frozen outside the restaurant entrance. "This is ridiculous," she whispered to herself. "He's going to take one look at me and walk right out." But her sister's words echoed in her mind, "You deserve happiness, Rach. Not every man is like Kevin." Kevin, the father of her unborn child, who had disappeared the moment she showed him the positive pregnancy test. With a deep breath that did little to calm her nerves, Rachel pushed open the door and gave the hostess her name. As she was led through the restaurant, she felt the weight of curious glances. The hostess gestured toward a table where a man sat with his back to her. He was broad-shouldered with dark hair neatly trimmed, dressed in a blue button-down shirt that complemented his tan skin. "Your table, miss," the hostess announced, causing the man to turn around. His eyes met Rachel's, then inevitably dropped to her pregnant belly. Rachel braced herself for the awkward excuse, the hasty departure, the embarrassment that would follow. But instead, something unexpected happened. The man, Daniel, according to her sister's description, stood up with a warm smile that reached his eyes. "Rachel? I'm Daniel. It's great to finally meet you." He pulled out her chair with a natural ease that suggested he wasn't at all fazed by her condition. Rachel sat down, confusion and relief washing over her in equal measure. "I'm sorry," she blurted out. "I should have told you. I understand if you want to leave." Daniel's expression softened. "Why would I leave? I came to meet you, and here you are." He paused, his smile turning slightly mischievous. "Besides, I've got a bit of a surprise for you too." Before Rachel could ask what he meant, Daniel pulled out his phone and turned it toward her. On the screen was a photo of a toddler with Daniel's eyes and smile, building a sandcastle on a beach. "That's my daughter, Lily. She's 3. She's beautiful," Rachel said, feeling the tension in her shoulders begin to dissolve. "Single dad," Daniel explained, putting his phone away. Her mother decided parenthood wasn't for her when Lily was 6 months old. The waiter arrived with water, momentarily pausing their conversation. When he left, Rachel found herself opening up. 7 months, she said, gesturing to her belly. "The father isn't in the picture." Daniel nodded, understanding in his eyes. "His loss," he said simply. That evening unfolded in a way Rachel couldn't have predicted. They talked about everything, their jobs, she was a graphic designer working remotely, he owned a small bookstore, their families, her supportive but sometimes overbearing sister, his parents who helped with Lily, and their shared love of old movies and hiking trails. "I haven't been on a trail since month 4, Rachel admitted. "I miss it." "There are some great accessible trails not far from here," Daniel suggested. "Lily and I go almost every weekend. Nothing strenuous, just beautiful views." By the time dessert arrived, a chocolate cake they decided to share, Rachel realized she hadn't thought about her pregnancy as an obstacle for the first time in months. Daniel asked questions about her pregnancy with genuine interest, sharing his own experiences of preparing for fatherhood. "The first time Lily got sick, I was a complete wreck," he confessed. "Called my mom at 2 a.m. because she had a slight fever." Rachel laughed. "I've already got the pediatrician's number on speed dial, and the baby isn't even here yet." As Daniel walked her to her car, Rachel felt a flutter that wasn't the baby kicking. When they reached her vehicle, an awkward moment hung in the air, the traditional end-of-date moment transformed by her circumstances. Daniel broke the silence. "I had a really great time tonight, Rachel." I'd love to see you again. Maybe this weekend? There's a farmer's market Lily and I always visit on Saturday mornings. Very low-key, lots of sitting opportunities, he added with a smile. Rachel found herself nodding before doubt could creep in. I'd like that. Great, Daniel said, his relief evident. And maybe you could meet Lily? Only if you're comfortable with that, of course. The suggestion surprised Rachel. Most single parents she knew were protective about introducing their children to someone new. Are you sure? Daniel's expression turned thoughtful. Life's complicated enough without adding unnecessary rules. You're going to be a mom, I'm already a dad. Our kids are part of who we are. As Rachel drove home that night, she felt something she hadn't experienced in months, hope. Not just for herself, but for her baby, a future where they wouldn't be alone. The farmer's market meeting went even better than their first date. Lily, a precocious 3-year-old with her father's expressive eyes, took to Rachel immediately, especially when Rachel let her feel the baby kick. There's a baby in there? Lily asked, wide-eyed with wonder. Yes, there is, Rachel answered, watching Daniel's face as he observed their interaction. Does the baby like cookies? Lily asked seriously. Rachel laughed. The baby loves when I eat cookies. Daddy makes the best cookies, Lily informed her solemnly. He could make some for your baby. Daniel's cheeks flushed slightly. Lily believes my basic chocolate chip cookies are gourmet masterpieces. I'd love to try them sometime, Rachel said, meeting his eyes. That sometime came sooner than expected. When Rachel mentioned she needed to assemble a crib that weekend, Daniel offered to help. He arrived with tools, take-out food, and Lily, who came equipped with her favorite coloring books. As Daniel efficiently assembled the crib, Rachel watched him from the doorway of what would become her baby's nursery. The walls were a soft yellow, gender-neutral, as she decided to be surprised. You're staring, Daniel noted without looking up from his work. Just thinking how different this is from what I imagined, Rachel admitted. I thought I'd be doing all this alone. Daniel set down his screwdriver and stood up, crossing the room to where she stood. You don't have to do everything alone, Rachel. Not if you don't want to. Their first kiss happened there, in the half-finished nursery, with Lily's humming as she colored in the living room providing the soundtrack. It was gentle and brief, but it felt like a promise. The weeks that followed took on a rhythm. Daniel and Lily became fixtures in Rachel's life. They helped her prepare for the baby, bringing over items Lily had outgrown, accompanying her to doctor's appointments, and making her laugh when pregnancy discomforts became overwhelming. You know, Rachel's sister commented one evening after meeting Daniel for the first time, when I set you up with him, I never expected it to move this fast. It doesn't feel fast, Rachel replied, watching through the window as Daniel pushed Lily on the swing set in her backyard. It feels like they were missing pieces I didn't know I needed. But not everything was smooth sailing. As Rachel's due date approached, insecurities surfaced. One night, after Lily had fallen asleep on Rachel's couch during a movie night, Rachel voiced her deepest fear. What if you're just being kind? What if once the baby comes, you realize this is too much, another man's child, all the complications? Daniel took her hands in his. Rachel, I fell for you, not despite your pregnancy, but including it. Your baby is part of you, just like Lily is part of me. I'm not looking for simple, if I were, I wouldn't be a single dad. But. No buts, he interrupted gently. I know what it's like to have someone walk away when parenthood gets real. I would never do that to you or to your child. 2 weeks before her due date, Rachel woke to sharp pains and a wet bed. Her first call was to Daniel. I'm on my way, he said immediately. My mom is coming to stay with Lily. Just breathe, Rachel. I'll be there in 15 minutes. He made it in 12, helping her to the car with a calm efficiency that belied the concern in his eyes. At the hospital, he never left her side, holding her hand through contractions, advocating for her when a nurse dismissed her pain, and whispering encouragements when she felt she couldn't continue. "You're the strongest person I know," he told her as the contractions intensified. "You can do this. We can do this." After 14 hours of labor, Rachel gave birth to a healthy baby boy with a shock of dark hair and lungs that announced his arrival to the entire maternity ward. "He's perfect," Daniel whispered, tears in his eyes as he looked at the tiny bundle in Rachel's arms. "Would you like to hold him?" Rachel asked, her voice hoarse from exertion. The look on Daniel's face as he carefully cradled her son was one Rachel would never forget, a mixture of awe, tenderness, and something that looked remarkably like love. "Hello, little man," he murmured. "You've got quite a mom, you know that?" When Rachel was settled in her hospital room, Daniel left briefly to bring Lily to meet the baby. The little girl approached the hospital bed with unusual caution, her eyes huge as she peered at the newborn. "He's so tiny," she whispered. "Would you like to sit next to me and get a better look?" Rachel invited. With Daniel's help, Lily climbed onto the bed and studied the baby's face. "Does he have a name?" Rachel and Daniel exchanged a glance. They had discussed names, but Rachel had been hesitant to make a final decision, as if naming her son would somehow make her vulnerability complete. "Not yet," Rachel answered. "Do you have any suggestions?" Lily thought for a moment, her face scrunched in concentration. "How about Max? Like my goldfish that went to heaven." Rachel laughed softly. "Max is a wonderful name." "Maxwell," Daniel suggested. "Maxwell Thomas, after your dad?" The fact that Daniel remembered her father's name from their conversations touched Rachel deeply. "Maxwell Thomas," she repeated, looking down at her son. "What do you think, little one?" The baby yawned in response, causing Lily to giggle. "I think that's a yes," Daniel said, his arm around Lily as they both gazed at the newest addition to their unexpected family unit. The first few weeks of Max's life were a blur of sleepless nights, diaper changes, and the kind of bone-deep exhaustion Rachel had been warned about but couldn't have truly understood until experiencing it. Through it all, Daniel was a constant presence, coming over after closing the bookstore, bringing prepared meals, and sometimes just holding Max so Rachel could shower or nap. "You don't have to do all this," Rachel told him one evening as he rocked Max to sleep while she ate a hot meal for the first time that day. "I know I don't have to," he replied, his voice low to avoid disturbing the finally sleeping infant. "I want to." When Max was a month old, Daniel invited Rachel and the baby to his house for dinner. It was their first time visiting his home, a charming craftsman with a fenced backyard where Lily had a play set and a small garden she tended with her father's help. The dinner was simple, pasta with a homemade sauce that Daniel apologized for repeatedly. "It's from a jar, but I added extra garlic and basil," but the evening felt significant. As they sat at his kitchen table, Lily chattering about her day at preschool and Max sleeping peacefully in the portable bassinet beside them, Rachel was struck by how right it felt. After Lily was tucked into bed, Daniel and Rachel sat on his back porch, a baby monitor between them and 2 glasses of wine that Rachel could finally enjoy now that she was no longer pregnant or exclusively breastfeeding. "I have something to ask you," Daniel said, his usual confidence seemingly shaken. "And I want you to know that there's no pressure. Whatever you decide is okay." Rachel's heart quickened. "What is it?" Daniel took a deep breath. "My lease on the bookstore is up for renewal, and there's a better location opening up across town. It's closer to Lily's school, has more foot traffic, and," he paused, meeting her eyes, "it's just a few blocks from your place." "You're thinking of moving the store?" Rachel asked, trying to follow his train of thought. "I'm thinking of moving, period. The commute is getting to be a lot, especially with splitting time between here and your place. And Lily's been asking when we're going to live with baby Max all the time." Rachel set down her wine glass. "Daniel, are you asking what I think you're asking?" He reached for her hand. "I'm asking if you'd consider us moving in together. Not right away, we could look for a place that works for all of us. Something with a yard for the kids, maybe an extra room for when my parents visit. The kids, Rachel repeated softly. Daniel's expression grew serious. I love Max, Rachel. I know he's not biologically mine, but these past weeks, I've come to think of him as part of my family. Just like I hope Lily has become part of yours. Tears welled in Rachel's eyes. She has. You both have. So, what do you think? Too soon? Too crazy? Rachel thought about the past months, from that first blind date when she'd been certain no man would want a pregnant woman, to this moment, being offered a family she'd stopped believing was possible. Not too soon, she said finally. Not too crazy at all. Daniel's smile was radiant. Really? Really, Rachel confirmed. But I have one condition. Name it. We find a place with a good hiking trail nearby. I think it's time Max experienced the great outdoors, don't you? Daniel laughed, pulling her into an embrace. I think that can be arranged. 6 months later, they moved into a 4-bedroom house in a family-friendly neighborhood with a nature preserve just 3 blocks away. The bookstore's new location thrived, and Rachel started taking on graphic design clients again, working from a home office while Max napped. Life wasn't perfect. They had disagreements about parenting styles, household chores, and the usual challenges of blending families. Lily went through a phase of jealousy when she felt Max was getting too much attention, and there were nights when the baby's teething kept everyone awake and irritable. But through it all, Rachel and Daniel faced each challenge together. They established family traditions, Sunday morning pancakes, monthly camping trips as the children grew older, and a special celebration each year on the anniversary of their first date. On that anniversary, when Max was 2 and Lily was 5, Daniel proposed during a picnic at the same farmer's market where Lily had first felt Max kick inside Rachel's belly. Are you going to be my real dad now? Max asked when Rachel tearfully accepted. Daniel knelt down to the toddler's level. I've been your real dad since the day you were born, buddy. This just makes it official. Their wedding was small and intimate, held in the backyard of their home with Lily as the flower girl and Max as the ring bearer, with considerable assistance from Rachel's sister. As they exchanged vows, Rachel couldn't help but reflect on how differently her life had turned out from what she'd feared when she stood outside that restaurant, pregnant and alone. I never expected you, she told Daniel in her vows. I never expected that showing up exactly as I was, scared, pregnant, vulnerable, would lead me to the love of my life. You didn't just accept me and my son, you embraced us, completed us, and showed us that family isn't about perfect circumstances but perfect love. Years passed, and their family grew. They welcomed a daughter together when Max was 4 and Lily was 7. Their home was chaotic, loud, and full of love. Max never questioned Daniel's role as his father, and when he was old enough to understand the full story, it only deepened his appreciation for the man who had chosen to love him from the start. On Max's 10th birthday, after the party was over and the other children had gone home, he found Daniel in the backyard, cleaning up the remains of the celebration. Dad, he said, helping to gather plastic cups. Can I ask you something? Anything, buddy, Daniel replied, pausing in his work. Mom told me that you guys met when she was pregnant with me. That my biological father left when he found out about me. Daniel set down the trash bag, giving Max his full attention. That's right. Weren't you scared? Taking on another man's kid? Daniel considered the question carefully. I wasn't thinking about you as another man's kid. From the moment I